It's been 40 days. 40 days since we last saw the Champions League, since we heard the beautiful Champions League songs, Le Grand KCP, the Champions. Like, it's been a long time. And in fact, someone messaged me and said they did not even know that Champions League was back. But it is back. Champions League is back. Match 7 is coming up in a few hours' time. I will tell you about that, about the early deadline. We have an early deadline. Kayat and Mateta have the first game this week, and they have the 4:30 at least West African time deadline tomorrow. That's 3:30 p.m. GMT. So, and we have a lot of things to catch up on. Who is on top of the table? How are teams doing? How did our teams perform? We got the African Cup of Nations that finished yesterday with Senegal winning it ahead of Morocco in what seems to be a very controversial game overall in terms of the officiating and all of that. A lot has happened in 30 days. Chelsea let go of Enzo Maresca and they brought in Liam Rosenier. Xabi Alonso has been sacked, relieved of his duties due to some internal issues within the board and the players who did not want him around anymore. After 7 months, he has also gone. And a lot has happened. A lot has happened. Man City wobbling in the Premier League. Real Madrid also just 1 point behind Barcelona, who lost yesterday. I'm getting ahead of myself. Welcome, guys, to the FM Anna podcast show. My name is Adiwali, and my favorite Champions League episode is back. Today is Monday, and as I'm recording, is like 10:43, 19th of January 2026. You are welcome. For those of you that have missed me, I missed you as well. You are welcome to this beautiful episode. I don't know how long I will spend because I have a lot I have to cover, but I will say in roughly 20 minutes, I will try and tell you what to expect ahead of match day 7, the best wildcard limitless templates if you still have your chips available. Injury updates were expected. Injury updates, suspensions like Yamal is suspended due to collecting 3 yellow cards last time, and I'll just cover on what you need to know in 20 minutes there. But trust me, to be like a 5 minutes chat, but that's how long I will need to give you guys the key details of what to expect ahead of match day 7. You're welcome. You're welcome. You are welcome. First of all, let's open my Chrome and check for my team. How did I perform last time in the Champions League? Let's go to gaming dot Champions League .uefa.com/Champions League and show you how my team performed. The last time we were here, if I'm not mistaken, I was roughly in like top 10k. I can't remember my last rank. Let me check my X account quickly. Do well to follow me on X as well to get more updates. The last time we were here, I don't remember what rank I was on, but I was not in the top 10k yet. However, approaching the deadline, I noticed I had a lot of issues with my team and I was forced to play my wildcard. It was kind of unplanned, but thanks to the templates I always design, I was able to create something worth looking at, and I finished with 85 points and got a green arrow. This is what my team looked like at least 40 days ago. That is about how many weeks ago now? At least over 4 weeks ago. And you can use this was my final captain. I got 18 points on his head. There were a lot of returns in the defense: 11, 9, 10, 9 from Grimaldo, Cambiaso, Rodinei, and Christian Romero. And I think I benched Pacho, or I didn't start him or so, for Guirassy, who did not play that game. So anyways, I finished with 85 points, and so far so good. I've been consistent. 894 match day 108, 90, 80, 83, 85. I've not really gone lower than 80 points, and I'm in the top 4k, 3,490. I'm trying to remember my last rank. I don't know. I usually highlight all this stuff. I've added to my highlights. I think I was in the yes, I was like 18k. Wow, that's actually massive. Exponential gains, as I wrote the last time. So 18.3k to top 5k or top 4k is actually massive. So I'm thankful for the gain in rank, and I don't really pay attention to rank because 1 week you can be having a great time and you are like in the top 5k. Next time maybe you don't have Mbappe. For example, I don't even have Mbappe, and he ruins your week, and you are back out of the top 10k or something. So I mean, it is what it is, but I try to enjoy the experience either way. So this is my match day 6 preview or review, and let's get into the main thing. So first of all, if if you want to really follow Champions League fantasy, I mean there are other creators online, but if you want to follow Champions League fantasy, I am your go-to guy. So try and follow me on X. I'm very very active here. So right off the bat, we'll start with feature ticker. Someone asked me back on December 11th, can you make a match feature ticker for game week 7 and 8? And I obliged and I've created one. So this is our updated feature ticker going into the final two games of the Champions League. Now Barcelona are top there. If at any of these top five teams, depending on the order you want it, are all easy games to look out for. At least maybe not the Liverpool game so much against Marseille, who won 4-0 in their last League 1 game against I can't remember the team now in the league. They won. I think they had the four goal victory. But this is how the future ticker is looking. Barcelona at top of the table there for expected features. I think they are currently 10th place in the Champions League table and they are on 10 points. Also, I think they are top 15 thereabouts, and they need 6 points at least to finish in 16th place. On 16 points to arrive in the top 8, and these are their fixtures. They face Slavia Praha away on Wednesday. Then next week on Tuesday or so, when everyone plays at the same time, they'll face Copenhagen. Bayern Munchen have Royal Union St. Gilloise to face at home. Very easy game on paper for the Germans, while they travel to Netherlands to face PSV Eindhoven. Liverpool are traveling to France to face Olympique de Marseille. Away from home, very difficult game for the Reds, but they will fancy their chances in Matchday 8 against Qarabag, which is very favourable fixture for them. Man City, even though their league form is a bit shaky, their Champions League campaign has still been very very good, as they are still in the top 8 in the Champions League table, and they face Bodo Glimt away from home. Difficult game at Norway, but Norwegian Erling Haaland will fancy his chances scoring against his local side, while they host Galatasaray in the last game. Atalanta, a team that has been slept on, they are also in the top 8 as well in the Champions League, and currently have a very very easy way to the final with Blebla at home and Union St. Gilloise away from home on the final match day. Let's look at the Champions League table so that we are on track with what we say. We'll try and justify who is the top one, the top 8, and one at the bottom 8, and see which other teams we are missing from this table. Which other teams we are not mentioning. So one of those matches I would like us to target is Chelsea, and that's going to be the major that's going to be on my major circumference of what we are going to focus on today. Chelsea, all about the Chelsea playing. Chelsea faces Pafos and Liam Rosenier. Rosenier will playing his first Champions League game as a manager, and he's at home to Pafos. That is one team I would like us to target. So that's one of the favorable easy games to target in match day 7. And in I think match day 8 we have Arsenal facing Kairat Almaty at home as well, which is an easy game to target for those ones that are focusing on one or two games. So the Premier League standings, this is what it looks like right now. Arsenal is on 18 points, on first on the table, 6 out of 6 wins. As it stands mathematically, there is no way to drop out of the top 8, but just for security sake, they will need to get at least a draw, a win against Inter Milan to secure their first or second place position and breeze through Kairat Almaty. Bayern Munchen, who is also the league leader in the Bundesliga, currently unbeaten in the last 27 games, are also second on the table here. So we have league leaders in their respective local leagues topping the Champions League table in the top 3. Paris Saint-Germain is third, Man City fourth with 13 points. Atalanta are actually on the same points with Man City on 13 as well. Inter Milan have a difficult task to face against Arsenal, but if they can secure a win, it will help them stay in the top 8. They are on 12 points. Real Madrid is on 12 points. Atletico Madrid is on 12 points. Liverpool are also on 12 points, but they fall in 9th place. Borussia Dortmund 11 points, 10th on the table. Tottenham 11 points, 11th on the table. Newcastle on 10 points, 12th on the table. Chelsea on 13 points, 10th on the table. On 10 points rather, 13th on the table. Sporting CP on 10 points, 14th on the table. And Barcelona in top 15 on 10 points, 15th on the table. In the bottom 5, we have teams that are most likely out. Club Brugge is 30 and 31st place for only 4 points so far. But they'll fancy their chances against bottom of the table Karath and Mati. Bodo Glimt are only on 3 points. Slavia Praha on 3 points. Ajax have been one of the worst teams this season, blame below their standards, and they're also on 3 points. They got their first win in Champions League last time out, and against the win against who did they play? I can't even remember. Trying to click on this, it's not showing. They are also in the bottom five. Villarreal currently on 1 point, but they have a chance to beat Paphos, or who are they facing this week? I can't remember. Ajax, who are also in the bottom five with them. They have a chance to get 3 points against Ajax at home. And Kairat and Mati is bottom of the table. No surprises there, as these are newbies with Bodo Glimt, who just made their way into the Champions League for their first time ever. Okay, we've talked about features. Let's try and I'll talk about you know strategy on which teams to target and stuff. But let's talk about a few updates, injury updates. I usually bookmark some of these and cover them in depthly within now and the next match day. So let's start from Chelsea. So let's start from Man City rather. So Man City, as mentioned, they were not in form in the league. They have dropped 9 points in the start of 2026, and they've gotten 0 wins in Premier League this year. They drew against Sunderland, they drew against Chelsea, they drew against Brighton, and they lost the Manchester derby against Manchester United. So this will be a chance for the citizens to start pad. So we hope Man City get some points against Bodo Glimt, who are in the bottom five, and this is a chance for Man City to start pad against what do you call it, against Bodo Glimt, and secure their place in the top five or top eight rather, and qualify to the next round. So Man City are a team to target, as I mentioned, due to their poor league form. So let's see how they turn this around when they travel to Norway. However, the citizens who may or may not have Theo Foden, who was subbed off early and was expected to suffer a broken hand in the first half of the game. So I mean, some people believe it's a lie, but so far so good. It appears to be that way, that Foden was taken off early due to injury concerns. So let's see if that is the case. Coming up soon. Chelsea. Let's go to Chelsea. Levi Colwill is recovery is in progress, and there's optimism that he will feature later on for the rest at the end of the season or so. So that's some good news for Chelsea fans. I think Kopama is also very very fit right now. He played 90 minutes against Brentford. So let's see if we can get some early returnees for Chelsea. So Levi Colwill is not an immediate returnee, but he's on progress to making his comeback. For injury updates, Raphinha, yesterday it was tweeted by official Barcelona page that Raphinha was going to sit out the Real Sociedad game as a precaution due to a knock on the right thigh. So Raphinha is sort of a fitness concern, and he was supposedly going to be one of those players I recommend for the to replace Lamine Yamal, who is suspended rather after collecting his third yellow card in Champions League. Mind you need only 3 yellow cards to get a suspension. After that, any other odd number that is 5, 7, 9, you also get a massive another suspension before the completion of the quarterfinals. By the semi-finals, all yellow cards are reset. So look, since we know Raphinha is a fitness concern, let's look at who do we now replace Lamine Yamal with. I tweeted it yesterday. So these are my top 7 Lamine Yamal replacements. Number 1 is Michael Olise, who got a goal and 2 assists in the last game against RB Leipzig. And let's see if he plays full time against this game. He was rested and came in and did excellently. Raphinha is still on the list here because, give or take, he may or may not start, but I think they will need him after the loss against Real Sociedad, so I don't completely rule him out. So he's still an option here. Vinicius Junior against AS Monaco. There's been some issues around Real Madrid's star elite players and their manager, but the caretaker boss Abeloa has said that Vinicius Junior is going to be his main protagonist. That's the word he used for Real Madrid. Even though Mbappe is the one taking most of the shots and scoring the penalties, we can see Vinicius Junior probably getting among these numbers against Monaco that have also been shaky in the French league. And Kenan Yildiz also on penalties. He missed the last one in the Serie A, but he's still a top asset for Juventus in the Champions League. Can I use this? Ryan Cherky was rested, but he tried to do some things against Manchester United. He will most likely be very, very fit and 100% ready to start against Bodo Glimt. That's tomorrow at one of the early kickoffs, 6:30 p.m. West African time. Dominic Szoboszlai is an underrated pick who has actually returned in every game except one in the Champions League this season, and he's one of those players I recommend as one of my differentials to look out for as a Lamine replacement. Either him or you consider his colleague, that is Florian Wirtz. Enzo Fernandez also, because of minutes, he's likely to start the first game instead of his colleague Cole Palmer. So those are my top Lamine replacements. Still talking about injury updates and other updates to know about. Let's look at some players on form. Florian Wirtz, or Wirtz as they say in German. Florian Wirtz, since the start of December, according to the Anfield Rap, has gotten 4 goals and 4 assists in 11 matches and 3 goals and 1 assist in the last 4. He scored against Burnley, and he seems to have found his mojo under and his slots, since the beginning of season, that he was in a kind of a very huge slump. And Liverpool signings seems they are gelling. They got a win against Inter. They know how to play big games. They did not lose against Arsenal in the league, and they have a difficult game again away from home against Marseille, but they will fancy their chances. And Florian Wirtz is one of those players I recommend to consider this week for your Champions League team. Still looking on players down form. Okay, Vinicius Junior played his 350th game for Real Madrid in the last victory against Levante. So one of those players I recommended initially. So watch out for him. He might honor his place in the team. Injury updates on Real Madrid. Kylian Mbappe, according to Abeloa, says that he's grateful for his effort. He's a leader. He made a great effort. That's with the goal he scored against Levante. However, with the pain in his knee, he still wanted to show up and help the team. He's an incredible boy and a natural born leader. So Mbappe is still carrying a knee injury despite being available to play, and played 90 minutes against Levante. The question now is, do we risk not going to Mbappe since he's like a minor injury concern for the Real Madrid game? Mind you, he's the top goal scorer in the Champions League, at least one of amongst the top goal scorers, if I'm not mistaken. Let's check top scorer stats. I think it's between him and Victor Osimhen also on 6 goals. I think he scored 7, or he scored a hat-trick or 4 goals in one match recently. I think he's on 7 goals, if I'm not mistaken. So he's one of the top goal scorers in the Champions League. Yes, with 9 goals. Forgive me, my stats is out of date. With 9 goals. So, do we risk not going with Real Madrid's star player who is 1 goal away from 10 or double digits, or do we get in some assets on our team that could help us do better, like a Dembele or stuff? Let's go to our Limitless and Wildcard templates. Now, someone complained in the comment section that solid work, bro, but try adding the names. Some picks aren't recognizable. I understand. So I will try and really add the names for those that are listening on Spotify and other podcast platforms. But personally, I feel like if you can't recognize Checky smiling, then I don't know. Forgive me. Maybe you need to check your own I don't know, your way of seeing players. But like many of these players are recognizable, so I don't want to make it, because I designed all this from scratch from Canva and stuff. So I don't want to make it too wordy, because I'm trying to make sure you know the players and the features they play. So this is what our Limitless template looks like, and I'll calling it out. In attack, we have Ousmane Dembele, who scored the brace against Lille in the Friday game last time out, and he's playing Sporting CP next, and PSG are also in top 8, so I consider him an option. We have Erling Haaland facing his local Norwegian side, Bodo Glimt, and Harry Kane facing Real Union SG. That is my front 3 for the Limitless template. In midfield, we have Vinicius Junior, who I have called a few times, Enzo Fernandez, Ryan Cherky. I feel Pedro Neto could make a solid addition because of his minutes. He's a little bit more stronger than Garnacho's minutes, but who knows? Chelsea is still a risk in and out. So Pedro Neto makes that midfield as well. Then on the bench there for the Wednesday games, I have Michael Olise, who will come in later. In defense, we have Grimaldo, the most active attacking defender in the game so far. I think he has scored 2 goals or so. He has the most attacking returns. So he's facing Olympiacos. It's not like Leverkusen are the best in defense, but we'll take him for the attacking prowess. Cucurella, Makurela is also among those attacking options in defense. Nuno Mendes as well, who is the better option to start in ahead of his teammate Ashraf Hakimi, who just made his return, or who is still basically in Morocco right now, or will make his return back to PSG's camp very soon. I think he doesn't play the tomorrow's game against Sporting CP because there's no way he has been out for a whole month injury wise and playing a serious AFCON contest. So his teammate Nuno Mendes will cover for him, and Cambiaso, who got 10 points last time, is also here against Benfica, and I have Kunde. Just Kunde against Slavia Praha on the bench to come in later on Wednesday. Then the two goalies are Milinkovic Savic of Napoli against Copenhagen, and Canessesi against Atalanta Canessesi at home against Blau. While the wildcard template, I have Kylian Mbappe in case you don't want to play it risky, you don't want to go without the top goal scorer. You could put Kylian Mbappe, who's on penalties. I had 6 shots last time, top goal scorer in Champions League, and born leader, as the manager said he is, taking the attack there. You could take a risk on bringing in like 6 million De Catelieri, who has won man of the match at least twice in the Champions League contest so far, and he seems to be Atalanta and go to point guard, or at least focal point of goals. So it's one of those cheap assets I'm recommending to consider on a wild card. And Harry Kane is still the third option there. In midfield, I have Victor Kvaratskhelia, Florian Wirtz. You can consider Zoboslai if you don't want Florian Wirtz for a much cheaper price. I have Checky also, and this time I have Yildiz with Olise on the bench. And defense is pretty much the same. We have Grimaldo there, but this time because of funds, we're trying to work with cheaper defenders. I'm getting in instead of Cucurella, Chalobah. Nuno Mendes still stays because of his consistency and points. But Zappacosta could fill in because they also have Bilbao now and Royal Union SG, the final game. In goal, I'm working with a cheap combination of Luis Junior of Villarreal, who is likely going to keep a clean sheet, fingers crossed, against Ajax, and Joan Garcia of Barcelona as the final selection there among the 15 players. Hope you guys listened. Feel free to pause the screen and look at these the screenshots of all this, or at least the graphics of all this. You could still go to my X. I'm thinking of writing an article. I've missed writing my article since my Rotobola writing days. I'm thinking of writing an article and posting it before tomorrow morning on what to expect. I'll go into more details on who are the picks, who are the must haves, and the differentials to look out for. So stay tuned for that. But I think that is basically it. I've covered what I need to cover. Let me see if I missed anything in the injury updates. I think Real Madrid still have Rodrigo and Rudiger out, along with Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think Holcim as well, and I think there's this other player, Eda Militao also as well. So those are the players out for Real Madrid, and I think that's basically it. I think maybe the last news I'll cover is some news around Hakimi, who is still in Morocco but was expected to return on Monday. I don't know if he's going to make a return immediately after all that happened yesterday night with the game against Senegal. So who knows? There's a striking issue with Juventus. Juventus are interested in signing. In fact, I'm supposed to talk about signings. Yes, I'm supposed to talk about signings. The new signings that have been done this month. But Juventus have made the loan offer with a condition to buy Pepe Metassa. So we might see Crystal Palace attacker Pepe Metassa coming to the Serie A. That to mean another Crystal Palace player leaves under Oliver Glasner's team and making them much more vulnerable in the Premier League. So this is why they are considering Pepe Metassa, because Openda, who's supposed to be their main line, who they spent 45 million on, has only gathered 0.21 xg in the last somewhat 9 to 10 games 10 games, and is very bad. So that's why this is like the major go-to for Juventus. I think I'm still going to talk about transfers like Man City signing Semenyo as one of the major key players to help them at least still push in the attack and do better in the Champions League as well across all competitions. So we have Semenyo signing for Man City. We have Mark Guehi coming in as well. We have a lot of players that have signed some other teams, during this winter break or winter period. So mind you, new signings will not be added till after match day 8, before the knockout stages. I remember last time when we got Richard Kvaratskhelia, we thought he was going to register immediately. No, that is not the case. All new signings will be added after the group stage or league phase is done, and they'll be registered for the round of 16 or knockout stages, depending on where you finish in the table. So I'm looking for Semenyo. I'm just trying to look for his picture here, but it's one of the signings that has been made. So I know that some other signings have been made across all other teams. So next time I'll try and like gather their names and show you which signings to look out for, and their price reviews whenever they get reviewed. So I think that's all in terms of sharing what you need to know. I don't know if I spent more than 15 minutes now. So let's go to my team and see what transfers I'm willing to make ahead of match day 7, and that will be a wrap for this episode. So this is what my team looks like. Nothing has changed. So far, so good. I don't think I have any injury concerns. Everyone is available to the best of my knowledge, except Lamine Yamal, who is 9.9 million on the bench. Now, I'm tempted to hold Lamine Yamal because Barcelona have a very easy home tie against Copenhagen. However, I'm in a situation where I don't have any of my chips available. I've utilized all my chips. I don't have any chips left. If you come here to my chips, I don't have any chips available. So I'm in a situation where I have to use my transfer wisely. I can't just make any random transfers. I have to plan accordingly. There are three names I'm considering. In attack, I'm considering Dembele because I feel like he's going to be a better differential and has like an upside to him against for the last two games, because a big game player is Ballon d'Or winner, for crying out loud, and he's somewhat on form in the league on. So I feel I need him, but fortunately I don't have enough money to swap him in for Gorasi. So Dembele is kind of someone I would just ignore for now, since I have Kvaratskhelia and Pacho as PSG assets. So I'm also looking at Florian Wirtz, one of Florian Wirtz or at least Vinicius Junior, to maybe be his direct swap for Lamine Yamal, but at the same time it makes it look like I don't have an attacking Barcelona asset for match day 8, and I think I might want to have one of them. So I'm still I don't know. I'm still in a doubt of who I bring in. So it's between Florian Wirtz and Vinicius Junior. Those are the second transfers I'm considering. The last one will be possibly considering a Chelsea defender. I don't have any Chelsea assets in my team, and in my graphics, which I'll post on the podcast graphics, it's time to target Chelsea. At least for this week, if not for any other week. Especially if you're using your Limitless, this is the best time to target Chelsea because you don't need them against Napoli. You don't exactly need them. So I'm considering maybe taking out a Rodinei who faces Leverkusen. It's not like his minutes are kind of shaky since the return of Costinha, and he faces Ajax away at the last game. It's not like it's a difficult game for them, but I don't think I need Rodinei. So I'm considering probably bringing in like a Zappacosta, at 4.6. I have some change for that, or like a Chalobah, and Chalobah also a very good option, depending on who Chelsea favor to start. We get to see some I don't know, pre-deadline or before the deadline. Is it that him, then maybe James? Rhys James is like the perfect signing to get at this price tag. Rhys James is like the perfect signing, but I don't know if Rhys James also starts. So I'm in a position where I have three options on what transfer to make, but I can only make one transfer because I would like to roll over. In case you didn't know, you can roll over your transfers. We get two transfers each week, but if you use one out of your two or you use none, you only get one rolled over. So I feel like I need to roll over a transfer to match the 8 because Liverpool face Quarterback in match the 8 at home. Arsenal face Kayata Mati at home. PSG face what do you call it? Newcastle at home. Bayern have an easy game there, and Barcelona face Copenhagen. So there are some games I'm looking at. So I want to have three transfers to get in at least two Arsenal, maybe the Arsenal defenders per se, because Arsenal defense is where the majorly the points is. Or I take a risk on maybe a Madueke for Leonard Cow, who I do not think will start the final game, and still manage risk for me, my team with only 1% ownership, and we have Jaman Musalia back for Bayern Munchen. We have Olise, who's most likely still going to compete with him for minutes, or at least he will compete with Olise for minutes rather. So I have some future issues to take care of, and the future is basically next week because match day match day 7 is now, that is 20th 21st. Match day 8 is on 28th of January, which is next week Wednesday. So I need at least three transfers. So I think out of all the points I've made, I think I'm more tempted to get a Florian Wirtz because of the Liverpool quarterback home game. I feel I don't need a Barcelona attacking asset for the final game because I already have Yamal Garcia here who can basically just keep a clean sheet, and I'm happy. So these are my thoughts though. So let me know what your decision is on your own team. Do you still have a transfer? Do you have some major transfer issues? Do you have a chip left? Or are you like me that have used all your chips? What is your plan going forward? Do you plan on rolling a few transfers? Let me know in the comment section. I think that's all for this pod show. It's a bit longer than expected. Honestly, I didn't expect it to take this long, but I'll be posting this in the next 1 hour, and on all platforms, on your Spotify, on your YouTube and stuff. I don't know if I've answered some questions. I'll try and answer them. So send your questions in the comments or my Twitter page at the FPM Manor, and I'll be there to answer your questions. Thank you all for tuning in for another lovely episode. You guys have been the best. I really wish you guys best of luck, and let's see if we can win the PS5 if we cross the 100 points quota this week. Love you guys. Have a beautiful week ahead, and may your arrows be green. Bye for now. Ciao.